Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I sense that there must be a lot of individuals that's going through a lot of hurt and pain emotionally because the Lord has me talking about so many things and a lot of things that I have, some things I've experienced, some not. But I'm glad I still obey the Lord and talk about it because when people reach out to me, I realize that, hey, this is why God wanted me to talk about something, even though I can't personally relate to some things. People are going through it. And I'm thankful to the Lord to be able to utilize me in this way. I will definitely tell you that something's going on. Right now in my life, all is well. I can say that I don't have anything happening personally. But the Lord has me here in this pulse, in the vein of this situation. And so I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to share with you something that happened to me years ago. And it was like a trip that I had planned. I planned a trip. I was going to go and hang out with an individual, and was going to take my family. All of that was going to go down. But something came up with one of my family members where they were very ill. Okay, they got very ill, had been ill for a bit, and we just couldn't figure out what was going on. And for months, I mean, totally crashing and all of that. And finally, the doctor figured out what was going on. Now, the doctor did say, hey, you guys can still travel, but they're going to need to rest a lot. They're going to need this. And in case of anything, you may need to take them to a treatment facility. Now, you have to keep in mind the plans at hand, the amount of time that we were going to spend here, and looking at and seeing firsthand what was going on. I mean, I did not feel at peace to travel at that time. I was like, you know what? I can cancel this trip and then we can push it back until later on, because when you cancel, you can always book again later, maybe pay the difference in the fare if there's a difference, but your ticket, it's still gonna be there. And once I did that, I felt at peace, but it was not an immediate decision, because now I'm like, man, I really want to go and do this and hang out here and whatever. And was just looking forward to going and meeting this individual and doing some things and all of that. But it was just me seeing everything firsthand, seeing how long this is going on, seeing the condition. I had to think, should I go anyway? And then I'm trying to find a treatment facility. We may have to go to the hospital. We may have to stop whatever we're doing for, this person to lay down, to rest. And it was just like for the family member to rest and lay down. And it was just not feasible. And so I was trying to convey that to the person and the individual that, where we're going to go visit. And it was just not going. I mean, they felt we can still come. They felt that we can still, hey, if they need a rest, we can stop. But the plan and the itinerary and the things that we were doing, and also being here where there is a team that already knows the symptom of this family member and can help them if need be, versus going somewhere where it's a brand new provider. And you know how some doctors can be. You can tell them what's going on. They're not going to have records from the other hospital back home and all of that. Sometimes they think they know better. And by this time, they had already been in hospitalization the year prior. So being out of town, away from treatment facility with all these possibilities, and just a diagnosis at this point where the person can tucker out tremendously at any given time, was just a situation that was very difficult for me. But yet I still wanted to kind of do this. So needless to say, to just make a long story short, nothing I was saying was really acceptable, because the person still felt like we could still come and it was not going to be a huge problem and anything. But as I was trying to think of what to do and really considering taking this risk, the individual began to withdraw more and more from me, saying less and less, Nothing I'm saying is really getting through, even to the point to say, hey, just really giving an alternative that will work for everybody. I'll take care of everything, but we may just have to wait later. It was just not happening. And I remember this, guys. I'll never forget this. When I was younger, like in my early 20s, for some reason, well, now the Lord showed me, I started to have like battle depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts like big time. And I didn't know where that came from because I've never had that before. No one in my family has ever had that before. I grew up with all boys. I mean, I've had, growing up where you like the boy, maybe he don't like you back, or they like you and you it doesn't work out, or the person dances with somebody else. These are things that I experienced growing up, like in junior high school, in high school, all of that stuff. When my dad did allow me to date that one time, I had a boyfriend, and so I have experienced that boyfriend heartbreak. He's with someone new and all of that, and I've never once felt like I wanted to die. Never. But I will learn later on how that started to happen, and that was where the Lord finally revealed to me that there was somebody who, surprisingly, the Lord showed me this person. Whenever they were angry at me, they would pray and even fast and pray evil against me. And because I was not a Christian, because I wasn't serving God and living how I wanted to live, I was an easy target for the enemy. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. So the Lord had long delivered me from this, okay? Long delivered me from this. But yet at this very moment, I felt such anxiety, and I felt such sadness in my heart because I did not know what to do to try to appeal to this individual to say, listen, I really want to do this, but this is a case. They're telling me, look, we can still just go to the hospital if we need to. We still need to go do this if we need to. And I was almost desperate enough to just do that because I did not want them to be angry at me. I did not want them to be disappointed. And it was strange because, I'm a strong individual, but here I am in this place. And anyway, guys, let me tell you. So I had to think for days how I was going to do this. And, or what I should do. And I remember after having dropping the children off to school, I came home and I just didn't want the blinds open. I just laid on my couch and I just felt this heaviness coming upon me, this sadness, this depression. And I recognized that feeling. I recognized this feeling. And it was when, way back in the days, I used to struggle with anxiety and depression and suicidal thoughts. It was like this darkness that came on me, and I was just curled up, and everything in my heart was going, what can I do? What can I do? What could I do to show them that I'm really want to be there, and I really want. And I was laying there curled up on that couch, just not want to move. I didn't eat breakfast. I didn't want to do anything. And I was feeling this darkness coming over me. And I recognized that feeling. I haven't felt that in a long time. It was a heaviness, a darkness, as if it was just slowly just engulfing me. And in the midst of that, I heard the Lord say, Arlene, what are you doing? Get up. Get up. I heard the Lord begin to minister to me and speak to me and tell me, get up, get up. This is not of God. This is not of God. This is not a situation where you're doing anything wrong. This is not a situation where anyone should even put you in a position that you would have to even consider making such a decision. And he told me, he said, anyone who is of me, anyone who has my heart will understand your concern as a mother and would appeal to you and understand you and not slowly withdraw from you and put you in a place where you are feeling depression. And the Lord told me, get up right now. I can't recall everything he said in detail, but he pulled me up out of that, guys. And so what is the point? And long story short, I made the decision. I contacted the individual. I told them I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm canceling the tickets. Now, it was not, I did not buy a ticket for them. I bought tickets for myself and my family. We were just going to go there. All right. We were going to meet up and everything. So it's not a matter of, hey, they have had to cancel. But I'm sure that there were plans made. But this was something where it was not something that was just like, oh, it's whatever. You understand what I'm saying? And guys, let me tell you something. I learned a lot of things from that moment. And I want to talk to you guys about some things, because when you are not guarding your heart, and when you are not discerning, you'll have your heart so open to individuals, sometimes because of who they are. Sometimes you've known them for a long time, right? In this case, I've known this person for a long time. So you are just looking at this person at face value. And if you're not guarding your heart, and if you don't have discernment, and if you're not walking in the wisdom of God, you will end up doing things that will put yourself and others at risk, just because you want to please these individuals or this person. You'll end up doing things because you have to think, the Lord had to make it clear to me, why would this person want you to leave a treatment facility or leave where you are, where you have a team, and put you at risk, put your family at risk, that you're going to now be trying to find a treatment facility there. Most doctors, when they see you for the first time, they are treating you at the lowest level versus a team that knows. And then God forbid if something happens and now there's hospitalization there, there's a dip in health, there's hospitalization there, you're going to be paying out of your pocket, paying out of network fees. And the Lord just had to just really make it clear. And it wasn't even so much about the hospitalizations and not only the out of network fees, but the spirit. Because the Lord was like, what is this? Think of what you're feeling here. You're feeling anxiety. You're feeling down, this depression. And the Lord was like, where have you felt this before? And he had to take me back to the place of when I was struggling with anxiety, heavy anxiety and depression. That spirit came at that moment to press in on me, because the individual was giving me no slack. And what I want to tell you all is this. It's so important to stay in tune with God and be in prayer. When you're in a situation where it may not even be a health issue, but it could be something where it's not good for you to go to this place. It may be the people that's going to be there. It may be where they want to go. It may be something that you know that it's not good for you health-wise to be there. Let's say people want to go out of town and they're like, oh, well, we're going to stay at this person's house. And you know this person is known for all kinds of crazy stuff happening there, or they may have some connections with people that are dangerous, but they're making you feel like you're crazy because why are you scared? We're all going to be there. We're just all going to be there for a day. It could be something else. It just could be a very uncomfortable decision that could be at your detriment. And guys, whenever anybody wants you to make a decision where your health is at risk, or your well-being is at risk, your reputation is at risk, or financially it would not be good for you, it could destroy your marriage. If someone wants you to do something that your spouse doesn't want you to do, or take part in an activity, or go somewhere that will cause a problem in your household, and they're making you feel like you're some sort of a softie because, oh, Basically, you're just going to listen to your husband. Oh, you're just going to follow your wife like you some sort of child. Step away from that. Overcome those things, because you have to listen to the spirit behind what's going on. Look beyond the person and see the spirit that is operating in them that may want you to do something that puts you at risk. And sometimes they may even use the Bible and use scripture against you to make you feel as if whatever you're doing or you wanting to be safe would mean you don't have faith. You don't have faith if you don't step out and do this. But everything does not always require you to step out. And honestly, guys, when you have a unsettling feeling, when you're getting ready to do something and go somewhere, and everything in you is just there, is just an unease in you, don't ignore that. Don't ignore that. Because I want to tell you that despite how hard and how difficult it was, when the Lord snapped me up off that couch and out that funk, when I made that decision, even though it was a difficult decision to cancel that trip, I felt a weight lifted off of me. I felt as light as a feather. Immediately after I made the choice, it wasn't something I was happy about, but I immediately felt like a lifted off of me. Why? Because sometimes, depending on who you're dealing with, sometimes individuals, when you are not guarding your heart and when you are not using discernment, when you are just blinded by who the person is, how long you've known them, the situation at hand, or what everybody's saying, you won't be able to detect and make decisions despite the majority, make decisions despite of how they're making you feel. And if someone can't do something and you say that you're a child of God, we should not ever be talking down to the person for making their choice and their decisions. And then we start to get silent and not speaking and giving short answers or no answers. But I want to share that with you all today, guys, because some of you may be going through that. You may be going through that where you have made decisions in the past. Maybe you've done it. You've made decisions simply because of the pressure to do it. Or you're about to make a decision based on the pressure. And it doesn't matter if it's your health or somebody else's health. They are just like, look, we can do this, we can do this. And nothing, you saying to yourself, look, I just want to make sure that I'm okay. I want to make sure I heal first. I want to do this when I'm at ease. They will push you and be like, oh, what? And that's not the character of God. And you have to be willing to stand strong on your decisions, whether you have a scenario that's similar to this or not. In your walk as a believer, when the Lord starts to change your heart and as you grow closer to Him, there may be things that the Lord may have you do that everybody else does not understand. Everything else looks fine for everybody else, but God is telling you not to go. You know, there are plenty of people who have died, gone on a trip, and something happened to them because they ignored that warning sign, or they ignored certain things. Something was going on with them. They knew that perhaps for a health risk, it was a health risk, or something was going on with them. Okay, maybe let's say, for example, they got doctor's orders. All right, there's a risk, don't do this, don't do that. They're still going to go on the trip anyway, right? And because the majority is going, come on, nothing's going to happen to you, they went anyway. And nothing happened to anybody else, but something happened to that person. Sometimes people would think, let's say you decided, you made a decision that you're not going to go somewhere. You felt completely like you weren't at peace in going somewhere. And everybody's like, come on. And you don't go. So everybody goes, everybody has a great time and comes right back and was like, see, you missed out. Not necessarily. Sometimes the issue is God is telling you not to go somewhere because everybody's going to come back fine except for you. Sometimes that's the case. And then, of course, there are times where God told you not to go somewhere, or you were late, or you missed the train, missed the plane, whatever it was, and something tragic happens, and you realize, wow, this is why God didn't want me to go. Sometimes you may, just because nothing happened that night, nothing happened when they went out of town, nothing happened when they took this drive. If God is giving you a feeling of unease, sometimes God knew that something was set in place to happen to you if you had gone. So don't ever think that you're just being paranoid. We're in times right now, guys, there's a lot of danger and stuff out in the world. Yes, you can go out and do the things that you need to do, but we need to be very aware of the times and how things are changing drastically. The level of evil in the world is very different. Sleepovers are not what they used to be anymore. Playing out in the front of your yard is not what it used to be anymore. All right. There's a lot of things that's different. And the reason why things are getting worse is, and the Lord talk about it, when the heart of man will wax cold, the Lord talks about it, the level of evil and wickedness that's going to come is because we're getting closer and closer to the return of Jesus Christ. Whether people believe it or not, it doesn't matter. It's not going to stop anything. All right. The level of evil that we're seeing in humanity, this is not just something that they're doing. Yes, they're making choices to do it, but the flip side of it is that there is an unseen entity at work, and it's materializing through the actions of human beings. So whenever we're making our choices and decisions, we have to be prayerful. Don't think you're too paranoid in asking God, Lord, should I go out today? What route should I take today? That's how it was for me when the pandemic first started. When everybody was out there fighting over toilet paper and everything, just so happens I've always had a good little stack, but not enough for the pandemic, but I still had enough. And I remember the Lord was telling me, don't go out there and go fighting for toilet paper or nothing like that. I'll provide for you. And I will tell you, just like that, the Lord was like, this is not the day to go. No. And then one day he said, go. This is the day to go. Go to this store. And when I went, guys, there was toilet paper sitting right there. It wasn't a bunch of people. It's toilet paper there. When I went, there was paper towels there. There I went, there was water, cases of water there. And this is the time, though, they were still saying you can only take one. So it was still, toilet paper was coming back again. All that craziness has sort of passed, but there was still not a lot. And the Lord would literally say, this is the day to go. Don't go out this day. Go out this day. And that's how I live. That's how I live, guys, because times are different. So my whole point is this. Don't feel ashamed or crazy because you're not following everybody. And if the Lord tells you not to go somewhere and nothing happened, that still doesn't mean anything. You weren't supposed to go. So whatever the enemy planned, or whoever was going to be there at this place looking for somebody that would have targeted you, or whatever would have happened, because now God tells you not to go and you override that feeling and follow it. You see, that would have taken place. So learn to obey God, no matter who thinks you're crazy. Oh, you don't go out, you're not doing this, blah, blah, blah. You just go straight home, blah, blah, blah. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. Don't allow yourself to be pressured by anybody. Because if you're trying to follow people, you're going to feel such discomfort. You're going to feel this vice on you. Even if you go anyway, despite your feeling, you're not going to really enjoy yourself because you feel unease. And that's the Holy Spirit telling you. They want you to relax. They want you to get a drink. You know, first you were just supposed to drop them off, and then they want you to come in, and now you're coming in, they want you to drink, and now you're ready to go. They're not ready to go, and you're still there, and they're making you feel crazy. Maybe you're the one that drove. You're only supposed to go there for just get there and come back. Now they want you to spend the night. The enemy will always use people to pull you and to drag you. Now, my situation was not that colorful. Let's just put it like that. But the point was, if you are not walking in the wisdom of God, not seeking Him, and you just have your heart on your sleeve and just have your heart open and not realizing you have to use discernment no matter who it is, then people can really shoot you center mass in some way that could send you reeling and send you in a place where they begin to withdraw from you and behave a certain way to kind of either punish you for making that decision or to force you to do what they want you to do. Because then if you don't do this, then I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to withdraw. And if there's a history of that, you may feel yourself feeling terrified, because for some reason at that moment I felt terrified that they may not understand. I did not know, why would I feel terrified? This does not make any sense, but I felt terrified. That's fear, the spirit of fear. And I'm not that kind of person. I would say I'm a person, I don't care if you like me or not. I don't care what you think about me. That's how I am. So what is this feeling? But I realized that spirit had entered into my living room because of what was there, what the individual was doing. And because I care so much. But I was not in position. So I laid there to feeling sad and thinking, oh, how can I prove and show them that I'm doing my best? And I'm making phone calls and seeing if it's possible, if there's any hospitals there. I'm doing all this stuff. And the person still not satisfied. The Holy Spirit, get up, brought me up. Told me to get up off that couch. I'll never forget. What are you doing? Get up. And immediately the Holy Spirit began to explain to me exactly what this is. Get your butt up off this couch. When you're led by God, even when you get into that funk, He's going to check you. He's going to tell you. And when you obey Him and you do what He tells you to do, even though it's not popular, when you feel that weight lifted, you've made the right decision. Be comfortable in where God has you now. Be comfortable with your yes and be comfortable with your no. And sometimes it can be hard, because I try to imagine when Noah was in that ark, it had to have gotten boring for a while. He was in there for a long time, him and his family. Because, okay, when he was making the ark, people probably was what is going on? It's never rained here. And then finally the rain comes. All right, you know you're in the right place now because everything's coming to pass. But at the same time, after a while, even though you're in the right place, you can start to get bored. But you have to remember, no matter how boring it gets and how monotonous it seems, that ark was moving in a direction. That ark was taking them to the place they need to go. No matter how humdrum you may think your life is and how little you're doing these days, don't think about jumping ship and following people who's already overboard or who don't want to understand. You understand me? All right, guys, I hope this makes some sense to you guys. And stay encouraged, and God bless you.